Hello and welcome to Systemise Your Success Live. In today's episode, I'm going to totally blow your mind. Actually, I'm not going to, but the apps I'm going to demonstrate today, these that are just totally out of this world, are really going to just change the way you think about social media, about content creation, about believing your own eyes and ears forevermore. When I saw this stuff, honestly, it took me a while to believe it was really happening, that it could actually, that the technology has advanced so quickly, so fast, that it can actually produce what I'm about to demonstrate for you today.
So the question is this: how do entrepreneurs like us, who don't have an endless supply of cash, how do we leverage the best apps, virtual assistants, automation tools and systems to scale our businesses, increase our profits and have more time to do what we love to do each day? That is the question, and this podcast will give you the answer. My name's Dr. Steve Day and this is Systemise Your Success.
So in today's episode, I'm going to be actually doing a live scripting and production of a podcast, a potential or a future podcast episode, so to speak, as a demonstration of a couple of incredible artificial intelligence apps. The first one is OpenAI. This is Elon Musk's brainchild and obviously a group of people, but it is just out of this world. Now, what I'm going to demonstrate today is about actually creating text. Now, this text could be writing a tagline for your shop, writing a social media post, or I'm going to demonstrate writing an entire podcast in literally seconds based on any question or any suggestion you can throw at it. It is quite unbelievable. And if you can get access to it, if you know anyone who's got an account, go and have a play with it. You can write poetry with it. You can write stories, theses for your exams, whatever it is. It's scary stuff, and it's really worth having a look at. And the second app I'm going to be demonstrating live and talking you through it, if you listen to this on the actual live podcast rather than seeing the screen or watching the screen and YouTube or whatever, then you should still be able to get every bit of value from this episode, regardless if you're looking at the screen or not. Now, if you are listening to this on the podcast, this is probably one of the exceptions when I would say go to the website, systemiseyoursuccess.com, check out the actual video feed on there and watch what I'm actually doing live. It'll just add that extra wow factor to what I'm going to show you today. So I'm going to share my screen for those of you watching the video. And what I've got on my screen now is the OpenAI Playground. OpenAI is, as I said, the app developed by Elon Musk. And what this basically allows you to do is to tap into an artificial intelligence machine that's sat there waiting for you to throw questions at it. And so what I'm going to do is actually post in, I scripted this question before. It took me a couple of seconds to write. And the question is, what topics should I cover in a podcast episode, about operation manuals? What topics should I cover in a podcast episode about operation manuals? So I've written that, my own words. And now I'm going to hit the submit button. And literally almost instantly, we're getting, 10 top things that I should be covering. I'm going to read these out to you. So the importance of having an operation manual, outline the contents and structure of an operation manual, the benefits of having an operation manual, how to create an operations manual, how to effectively keep an operation manual up to date, tips for creating an operations manual, using technology to help create and manage operation manuals, how to ensure the operation manual is understood by all users, best practice for writing an operation manual, and how to troubleshoot an operation manual. I mean, they're pretty good. I mean, literally, I'm trying to think if I was actually going to genuinely come up with my own ideas about creating an episode about operation manuals, which I have done. I did an episode of 21 Reasons Why You Should Have an Operation Manual. I mean, this is the sort of stuff I covered. And some other interesting stuff beside, which I don't think I actually did. Like, for example, I didn't talk about how to ensure the operation was understood by all users. I mean, something I know about. We use multi types of, we use video, we use text, we use checklists, we use audio. So we cover those bases, but I don't think I talked about it. Anyway, really interesting stuff. So I've not written any of those things. They're literally instantaneously produced by the AI bot, the OpenAI bot. And now I'm going to do something which I came up with an idea when I was messing around with this, is to just rephrase that question by literally, I've left the 10 bullet points there, the 10 things that it has suggested. And now I'm just going to change the question to write a podcast episode for the Systemise Your Success podcast covering the following topics. And then I've got that list of 10 things. All I've done is replace that initial question. And now I'm going to hit submit. And now it's going to actually churn out, because I've messed around with this before, but it's going to churn out the script for the entire podcast episode. It's only a short script. It's got a limited of number of characters based on the algorithm, whatever. And you could run it multiple times to generate longer things. And I have done that. I created a 10-minute episode when I was messing around with this before by asking it multiple questions about topics. You could ask, for example, each of those 10 points, you could ask it to give you an episode based on each of those. Each one could be, 3 or 4,000 words long, whatever. Not 1,000, sorry, characters long. And so, but this is now produced in that time I've been speaking. It's now finished. So I'm going to read the first sentence and I'm going to stop, and then I'm going to move over to the next part of this incredible journey I'm going to take you on. And it says basically, welcome to the Systemise Your Success. Today, we're going to be discussing the importance of having operation manuals and how to create and effectively manage one. So that's the opening sentence it's come up with. I've given it no background information about myself. It doesn't know who I am, other than I put the name of my podcast into the question. So my question was, write a podcast episode for the Systemise Your Success podcast, and therefore it knew that that information about me. The rest of it, which you're going to hear in a second, is literally written by the artificial intelligence bot without any human input, and it literally did it in seconds. It scrolls across the screen. It's such a cool thing to watch. You actually see it churning out the information like it's doing it in real time. And so now what I'm going to do is to jump over to my second app of the day, and that is an app which I use for many months, if not years now, called Descript. Descript it's an awesome app for editing any video that has audio to it, as in like spoken audio, because you can edit the words on the page and it'll automatically edit the video to match the words. You can also do things like all of our TikTok posts or videos on there, or social media videos. Our team actually use this app to create all of that stuff now. And so it's a really cool app for that stuff. But what I'm going to show you today is just the next level. So I've just created a script for a podcast episode, as I've just described, in OpenAI. And all I'm going to do now is copy and paste it into my Descript. I'm now going to select the speaker. So I've already trained Descript with my voice. So I've gone through a process of reading out some stuff that it gives you, some text that you have to read through, and it sort of trains your voice. It learns how you speak. And obviously you can train it better. And I've done the basic training. So it's sort of, it could definitely be improved, but it's pretty damn good. It is quite amazing when you hear this. So I've now just basically selected my name, and I'm just going to make sure it's caught. So it's caught me as being the author or the speaker for everything. And now we're just going to give it a couple of seconds. It's not going to take long, so you don't have to sit there and wait for ages if you're listening on the audio. It's literally now going to go away and create the audio file of me reading the entire script that OpenAI just created for me, wrote for me in seconds. It's now going to read it for me. And it's going to do it in my voice. This is the scary bit. So I didn't write this text, and I'm not reading this text, and I'm going to do it live. And so I'm going to actually hit press play now, so you can listen to this episode that has been created by a artificial intelligence bot, and you're going to listen to it being read by an artificial intelligence bot in my voice. I think this is awesome. I hope you do too. So right now I'm just going to hit play, and I'm going to pause my mic so I don't get interference, and you can see it on my screen if you're following along. Actually, no, I'll do one more thing. I'm just going to actually do something cool. This is more for the visual, but actually just going to add in some fancy captions so people can read along if you want to. If you're watching this live, if you're listening to this, I apologize for this slight pause, but I make this a lot more fun, a lot more interesting if you're reading this. You actually see the words on the screen coming up. So apologies for that bit interlude if you're listening to this on the podcast. Now I'm going to hit play. Okay, so let's go. Welcome to Systemise Your Success. Today, we are going to be discussing the importance of having an operations manual and how to create and effectively manage one. For those of you who don't know, an operations manual is a comprehensive guide that outlines the procedures and processes for running a business. It typically contains detailed instructions on how to perform tasks and procedures, contact information of key personnel, and is often supplemented with diagrams, pictures, and other resources. Let's start by talking about the importance of having an operations manual. Having an operations manual is vital to the success of any business. It ensures that everyone in the company has access to the same information and can use it to improve efficiency, reduce errors, and stay on top of tasks. It also provides a go-to-reference document for any employee who needs to refer back to the operations manual for guidance. Next, let's talk about what an operations manual should contain. Generally, operations manuals should include detailed instructions for every task, contact information of key personnel, and descriptions of processes and procedures. Additionally, it's important to include diagrams, photos, and other visuals to help illustrate how the processes and procedures should be carried out. There are numerous benefits to having an operations manual. Firstly, having an operations manual can help minimize errors and increase efficiency. By having a reference document to refer back to, it's easier for employees to complete tasks correctly and quickly. Secondly, an operations manual can help to ensure consistency throughout the business. By having a clearly outlined set of processes and procedures, it's easier to maintain consistency across the organization. Now that we've covered the importance of having an operations manual, let's talk about how to create one. Creating an operations manual can seem like a daunting task, but it doesn't have to be. Start by collecting all the necessary information and resources that you need, such as diagrams, photos, contact information, and descriptions of processes and procedures. Once you have everything you need, you can begin to organize and structure the information into an easy-to-follow document. To ensure that your operations manual is kept up to date, it's important to review it regularly. Make sure to update any contact information, procedures, or processes that have changed. Additionally, it's important to make sure that everyone in the company understands the operations manual. If necessary, hold training sessions or workshops to ensure that everyone is on the same page. When creating an operations manual, there are a few tips and best practices to keep in mind. Firstly, make sure to keep it simple. The operations manual should be easy to follow and understand. Secondly, make sure to keep it organized. Start by creating a table of contents and use headings and subheadings to make the document easier to read. Finally, make sure to include visuals and diagrams. Visuals can help to clarify instructions and make them easier to understand. Now, let's talk about using technology to help create and manage an operations manual. There are numerous tools and technologies available that can help streamline the process of creating and managing an operations manual. For example, Word documents and spreadsheets are great for organizing and structuring information, while project management tools can help to keep track of tasks and deadlines. Additionally, there are numerous cloud-based document management systems that can help to store and share your operations manual with other users. Finally, let's discuss how to troubleshoot an operations manual. If you run into issues, the first step is to review the document and make sure that all the procedures and processes are correct. Additionally, it's important to make sure that everyone in the organization understands the operations manual. If necessary, hold training sessions or workshops to ensure that everyone is on the same page. Well, that's all for this episode of Systemise Your Success. We've discussed the importance of having an operations manual and how to create and effectively manage one. Remember, having an operations manual is vital to the success of any business. By having a comprehensive guide that outlines the procedures and processes for running a business, it helps to ensure consistency throughout the organization and reduces errors. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on Systemise Your Success. That's scary. I just created my own podcast without doing anything. Oh, that was awesome. So, yeah. There you go. I think I've just done myself out of a job. My staff don't need me anymore. Scary stuff, really scary stuff. And the cool thing is as well, if you're not into like getting on camera, like you do YouTube and rather than podcasts as well, you can actually just use Descript, for example, to create a nice waveform, to create subtitles, to put images on it, to have B-roll if you want. And you can do that in seconds and super easy, and anyone in your team can do it. I mean, this is game-changing stuff. And I was messing around with OpenAI before and having a look at like churning out some various things. Let's just have a little play with this just for a second, just for shits and giggles, as they say. All right, so I'm back on Playground now on the OpenAI app. I'm just going to ask it a couple of questions. So I'm going to say, write me a short post about taking your dog for a walk. Submit. Ready to stretch your legs and get some fresh air? Taking your pup for a walk is a great way to enjoy the outdoors. Not only is it a fun activity for the two of you, but it's also important for your pup's physical and mental health. Taking your furry friend on a daily walk can help them keep them active and stimulate their senses. So lace up your shoes and grab a leash. Grab the leash. It's time to get out there and explore. Hashtag dogs of Instagram. Hashtag dog walk. I think that's pretty awesome. That is pretty awesome. You can also do, I'm not going to do it now because on a podcast, but you can also create images and paintings. I did one the other day. Like I was thinking about the image of, a million monkeys, whatever is infinite number of monkeys on an infinite number of typewriters could write the works of Shakespeare, whatever that expression is. And so I asked it to create me a oil painting in impressionist form or impressionist style of monkeys on typewriters, and it came up with an awesome example. And then I said, on from that, it's just like less fun, but I said, create me a new logo for a company called Systems and Outsourcing, and it did it. And it actually came up with some pretty good examples, pretty just like examples that you would actually be quite happy to run with. Obviously, you might tweak them a bit and put your brand colors on there. I didn't give it any information at all about brand colors or anything, but you can do that. It is absolutely awesome and it's game changing. And I'm going to get my staff to use it a lot more to help them with writing content. Obviously, I'm going to be anything that goes out. We need to attribute it to the fact that if we didn't write it, then we need to say that it's written by an AI. I believe that's what we should do. And if that is, then I'll be doing that. But secondly, you can use it as ideas, like the ideas for the post. That doesn't mean that you have to use it to actually write the content and it not be your words. You can just use it for inspiration, or use it and then reword it or paraphrase it, or use it just to fuel those moments of writer's block, like coming up with episode content. Sometimes for me, like I just sit there and think, oh, what am I going to talk about this week? And then and just that inspiration, just type in now and get some ideas about, fun stuff I can talk about, systems, or the bigger pains people have in outsourcing or whatever. I mean, I know this stuff, but sometimes you forget and you want reminder of the basics again, or just some out there sort of ideas as well. And it's very cool. So if you ask it, for example, what are you? So I asked it, are you a robot? I said, are you an AI? And I asked it, are you an AI? And it came back before I did this before, and it says, no, I am not an AI. This is scary. So what are you? Type in what are you now to this poor bot, and it's now saying I am a human being, and it's like, when were you born? Now type in when were you born? I was born in May of 1985. Interestingly, it said 1995 last time, so I think it's just actually answering the question rather than actually trying to actually think like it is actually a human. But anyway, it's a little bit scary. Anyway, with that said, that's it for today. Thank you very much indeed. If you like this episode, please do leave us a review on your favorite podcast app. Subscribe if you're listening to it on either podcast or YouTube, and hit like, and any other way you want to share the love. And obviously, please do share this with your friends and just let them see how awesome artificial intelligence, how scary artificial intelligence is now, and how it's going to completely change our worlds. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I've had a lot of fun creating this one, and so we'll see what happens. And maybe I won't be recording so many episodes in the future. We'll wait and see. Thank you so much. I'll see you next time. Bye.